You know, it wasn't that long ago that Fiat as a brand didn't exist in America, and now, well, it's growing. Here you have the original Fiat 500. This happens to be the turbo. If you walk with me over here, we've got the high performance version of the 500, the Abarth. Here, well, classic Fiat 500, the car that brought the brand back to America. And now, today, we're going to be driving what is essentially a family vehicle in Europe, and here, a B-segment car. A car that competes with the Scion XB, the Kia Soul, and maybe even the Mini Countryman, the brand new Fiat 500L. Style-wise, I can't help but some of you may think this car is a little polarizing. It can be considered cute, or it can be considered comical, even cartoonish, and there's a reason for that. The very first Fiat 500 in Italy was called the Tupolino, which means, well, Mickey Mouse. Now in Italy, the 500 is called the Tupolino.
Yeah, the first one, the one from
the very first one, the
34,
original.
yeah.
And that stands for Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah.
And I see a little bit of Mickey Mouse in this car.
Yeah, actually it does.
Yeah.
Actually it does. It was, I think it was the first real car that explained the Italian way of approaching to cars, because you know usually cars as culturally they have to be aggressive, they have to show how fast they can go, they have to show supremacy of the man.
Yes.
While Italian cars does it like, hey, take it easy.
Tell me about the interior design, which is something that you worked on. So, what was the kind of the general goal of the interior design of this car?
Well, the general goal was to develop Cinquecento's concept. It has a lot of functionality in it, a lot of like places to put this stuff in. We had to manage the cup holders issue that for USA is really important. So, as I said, it was the first project that was developed for both American and European market, and interior was the most tricky part of that. So we have a lot of room on the head, we have a lot of room on the knee, also passengers in the back. It's incredible for 4 meters and 25. It's really incredible. And you have a lot of glass. It's very open and airy. Yeah, it is. It is. As soon as you drive it, you really feel like you can breathe in it. So under the hood is a familiar engine, at least those of you who watch the fast lane car. It's Fiat's 1.4 liter multi-air turbo. It's the same engine that's in the Abarth. It puts out 160 horsepower, and in this vehicle, according to the EPA, it's rated at a combined 27 mpg when it's mated to the twin clutch 6-speed automatic transmission. Now this may seem obvious to you, but the Fiat 500 and this Fiat 500L share no parts. In fact, it's 2 inches longer, 6 inches taller, and it has 42% more interior volume. It also is very light and airy, and part of that reason is because it has the segment's only glass A-pillar. Now the inside of the Fiat 500 is a nice place to be. It's very European. All the materials, especially in this upper end lounge, are soft. It's stylish, but like all Fiat products, it's a little bit quirky. First of all, there's really no place to put your cell phone. You could put it over here, there's a little shelf, but it's kind of far out of the way, or you could put it over here on this little shelf, but it's right above the cup holder and the phone's too long, and the fear is that it'll fall right into your drink. Otherwise, the steering wheel is nice and fat, which I like, and all the controls are thoughtfully placed. I especially like the fact that you can have dual climate, one for the passenger and one for the driver. Oh, and there is a little quirky thing. There is lumbar support, but if you look down here at the little icon for the lumbar support, to me that looks like somebody poking you in the back. Otherwise,
Nice. It sort of looks like the 500, but it's a very different car. It doesn't share any of the same body panels or any of the same chassis. It's a completely new car.
It's completely new. It's totally new car, and we wanted to give it the same feeling of the 500.
Now there are 4 different models of the Fiat 500L, and it starts at right around 20,000 and goes all the way up to this top-of-the-line lounge model, which is about $26,000. So it's not inexpensive. You do, however, get a lot of technology and a lot of features like this incredible panoramic sunroof, which makes the car feel airy and open. You also get stuff like a cooled glove box, which I think is pretty unique for this segment. Now, one of the models in the Fiat 500 lineup is this one. It's the Fiat 500L Trekking, and as you can tell, it's meant for an active lifestyle. So if you're a hiker, a mountain biker, this might be the car for you. However, there's a word of caution for all you cold weather state people. This car only comes in front wheel drive, so if it gets snowy, you might get stuck. All right, let's take this Cinquecento L, I don't know how to say L in Italian, for a ride. Luckily, we've got some nice roads ahead. A lot of interesting turns. Really good driving here in Baltimore, I'm surprised. So immediately my first reaction is that this car drives like a European sedan. And by that I mean it's much more firm, it's much more, well dampened. In other words, you have a good sense of where all 4 wheels are, and you don't feel like you're floating down the road like you would maybe in an American car. On the other hand, the electric steering is a little bit numb. So, you know, I wouldn't say I can carve corners with this car. I think it's set up for a general family car. In other words, going and taking the kids from school to their soccer practice and making sure that the ride is firm yet compliant. I guess the most surprising aspect of this car is how peppy it is when you take that 1.4 liter turbo multi-air engine out of the Fiat 500 Abarth and stick it in a much bigger, heavier car. You'd think it would be well muted, but let's floor it. There we go. I'm getting a little bit of wheel spin. I'm still hearing a little bit of that growl, but boy, once this engine revs up, it is a hoot. This is a car you can grow into. It's a young family car. I think that's true in Europe. I'm not sure about that in America, because this is nevertheless a pretty small car, and the competing cars that this will be selling against, like the Scion XB and even the Kia Soul, they sell to a lot of empty nesters. The empty nesters find that the size is perfect for their needs, the fuel economy is outstanding, and the cost is reasonable. I'm betting that here in America, this is going to go to more empty nesters than Fiat might suspect at this point. Is it fun? You bet. Is it cool? Heck yeah. Is it quirky? Oh yeah, it's quirky. Is it fast? Well, I don't know. We didn't have a chance to do a 0 to 60 run today because, well, we couldn't find a safe place, so you're gonna have to wait for that until we get it back to Colorado. I can tell you one thing though, it does hurt my big American butt. Those seats are hard, but the car has a lot of personality, and when you get personality, you get a lot of quirks. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Now, as you can probably tell by the numerous Fiat 500s, Fiat provided us these competitor cars to drive, but I've been lucky enough to drive all of them, so I have a good sense for what the cars are like. Alright, I'm now driving my favorite form of transmission, a 6-speed manual, and I can tell you this 500L is no Abarth. The throws are long, it's a little bit sloppy. Basically, it's an economy car transmission, so if you're looking for a sporty ride, maybe the dual clutch, I can't believe I'm about to say that, is a way to go in this particular ride. Hey Kyle, what's one of the perks of interning at the Fast Lane Car?
Getting to drive the rides.
That's right, look at that. You're driving the brand new Fiat 500L. And best of all, Honda Kyle there, whose Honda we've been using to test the brand new 2013 Accord, knows how to drive the stick shift.
Yeah.